Welcome back to another 78 Camaro video, in which I'm sure we will work on a few other things. I've actually been sitting here working. We finally got the replacement switches, so I almost have that back together. Harlan's just walking in, he's getting ready. It was freezing in here, so we do have a little heat kicking up. Tonight we do intend to put some brakes and axles on this 9-inch. That should be fun. And you know, like always, parts are always coming in, so we got some parts here, and you know, should be a pretty good night. Well, that actually works now, and we're trying out this desulfating battery charger. So he went to go get the rear brakes. I'm going to go ahead and get this up to a working height, and then open up the box with the axles and hope we have seals, because those are definitely going to be required. And then I got to dig around and find those T-bolts from the last video. That's where they go. I blew that. I'm sure we all remember this guy. I just got him peeled up. That came out pretty easy. I'm going to go get some Super 90, and that's going to work. With it being so chilly in here, we just kicked 2 heaters on before we go playing with glue and stickers. We figured, we better warm the car up a little bit. All right, we're starting to sort it all out. Long shaft on the drinker side. So brakes have been brought out to start warming up, because they get mounted as soon as the axle seals are in. They'll go in the same time the axle and the axle retainer go in. So we'll get cracking here. We'll show you, we'll do one and then we'll show you how to do the other. Before we do anything, let's get these lip seals installed. And these are the kind with the little springs in them, so be careful. Remember, that side out. And we're going to go ahead and use a seal installer. So that'll work pretty slick. Okay, so now we got these in. We'll go grab a brake. You slide the brake on there. We slide the axle and the bearing in. We will put a light coat of grease right here to help the bearing go in a little bit easier, guys. It's not going to want to go in there. Well, in an unexpected turn of events, when we ordered the new axle, this is what we measured, this shock location, and said, oh yeah, we can shorten our axle 1 inch. Notice how this flange looks and where this brake is. Let's walk in here now and notice something totally different on the Ford setup here. So when we come here and we look at that and it all looks fine, we have this weird problem. Look how dished that is. I cannot mount that. We hit the shock pretty hard. Talk about something we did not see coming. We got to think about that for a little bit. And here's the problem. As the brake comes in, you can see, yeah, that being dished by more than 1 inch. Honestly, even if we hadn't shortened the axle, I'm not sure we'd have cleared that plate. Okay, for now, we just spun this around. We're going to look at relocate kits. I just don't feel comfortable running the shock body to the inside of the spring without a kit. I know they exist. We haven't seen exactly what they look like. So, I believe it.
Too much of an angle.
Yeah, I believe a lot of those kits.
Here to there.
Yeah, I think it would bind.
Yeah,
Well, either which way, it wouldn't work.
You're also stressing this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the kits that I saw involve either welding or screwing a piece up here, getting a new plate down here. Shock is in the inside where it's supposed to be anyway. So that's probably how we're going to do it, because then no matter what plate we use here, we should clear the backing plate. It's a real bummer. We really thought we were almost done with this. And we did not forget. So we used some Super 90, so that should last. But that's why we warmed it up in here, to make sure that would stick. since we already had it nice and warm in here, might as well add a few more stickers, right? So this car is almost finished. We have a little grease on here. We just flipped that one around for now too. We'll buy a relocate kit. It was just something we didn't want to do. So we've got our T-nuts in, we've got our seal in, a light skim of grease to help the bearing go in, and then you can see the backing plate goes. That bearing will go through this hole, and we'll tap it until it kind of seats. Then we'll put the retainer plate in and draw it in. So it's not too big a deal. All right, and we used a block and a hammer to get it started, enough to get our retainer plate on. So now we'll go tighten that a little bit, come over here, tighten this one, tighten that one, tighten, and keep going back and around and around and around, and it'll draw that bearing the rest of the way in. We have them torqued down. Obviously we're just setting these on for now. We don't have e-brake cables or anything like that going on. We don't have them fully adjusted out. He had taped up the inside for when he was painting, so he's cleaning out the tape for this side. And you know, it all turns, it all works. So I'm pretty happy about that. Like I said, we still got to do e-brakes and all that, so there's a bit to do. Yeah, that's one step. It's a real bummer that we're gonna have to look at a relocate kit for the shocks, but what do you do? So like I said before, I think it'll be like a plate that goes here and the shock comes down, and then a different plate here with a new mount. We'll figure it out. Real bummer, but honestly, even if we hadn't shortened these axles with the way that swells out and the way this dish is in, this would have never cleared. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. We'd have still been relocating. So we might as well take the deeper tires. And with that, we're going to call this an evening. For now, we got a couple tires on there. He's going to throw some on the front so he can roll this thing around. You know, it is nice to be able to move cars off the lift. Like I said before, I know it's actually a while ago, but to you guys it's a minute ago. We're really bummed about that, but what do we do? The only upside is that means just one less thing we got to worry about rubbing against tires or anything. You know, and remember, we didn't do the notch here. This is where that seatbelt cup is. So that's going to really give us quite a bit more tire than a stock car would have been able to handle. You know, and obviously we didn't move the leafs in. The leaf will be our limit. But you can see we've got quite a bit here. And when you look down the body line, you can see we've got a long way there. So we might be in the 285, 305, 315 kind of range. Might look pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to say thanks for watching. Hand this over to ShopRex and keep working on other little things. Thank you. And just remember, ShopRex always says safety first.